Go live or record. What is up, Facebook? Happy Friday night. Friday night. Just got paid. Booty shaking. I don't think that's how the song goes, but that's where I went with it. Shaking asses. Shaking asses. All right, let me share this and then we can get started. What had happened was podcast. All right, let's share this. Share it, share it. Finally, another episode. That's what I'm going to say. Finally, another episode. You like that? That is interesting. I got my wife to my left here telling me that this is already not interesting. So I hope that everyone is more interested in this than she is. Anyhow, my name is Mike Tendarski. Thank you so much for tuning in to yet another episode of the What Had Happened Was podcast. Bifocals, don't hate on my shiny fucking glasses that the glare shoots back. So looking at you don't, at least you know I'm not looking at some, I don't know, weird stuff. I'm just watching myself on the screen. So you know what? Everyone can just kiss my grits for all I care. How's that sound? We're kissing grits tonight on a Friday night. No, long time. Been a long time. I went through like my iPhone, or well, it's not my iPhone. It's my my Google Pixel, and I went through my notes that I had for stuff that I wanted to talk about. And number one was the news. What the hell was going on with the news? It was about a week ago, maybe two. All of a sudden, it's front page news, or I guess it's not front page anymore. We don't fucking use newspapers. What is it? 1940? Hey, line right up, kids. Get on, extra. Read all about it. No, not so much anymore. No, not quite front page. But what I meant was top banner news. Donald Trump, Eddie pubes, mushroom dick. And it was very disappointing to me that was actually news. I was disappointed. I mean, don't get me wrong. Should it be tabloid father? Yes. Should the tabloids like the National Enquirer and I don't know, Page Six care that Donald Trump's penis apparently looks like Toad from Mario Kart? Yes, maybe they should. Maybe they should. But I don't think that the New York Times or Huffington Post or Fox News should be reporting that Stormy Daniels reported that Donald Trump has Yeti pubes. One, gross, shave it. It's 2018. Two, I'm not even going to get on my high horse because sometimes I let it go. I don't always shave it, but I'm on my, I'm going to get, 2018, gotta trim it up. There's a lot of options. You have the buzzer, the electric clipper, the drrrr. You have the straight edge razor if you're a gangster and you're not worried about any, snipping at anything there. I'm already snipped, so I don't have to worry about that. I can just go straight edge, any kind of mishaps aren't going to screw anything up. I don't think anyway. I'm two and done crew. I'm part of that crew, which I think is quite possibly the best decision you can make. No, I'm not trying to shit on anyone with more than two kids, but I had a boy, I had a girl, and then I had my vast deferences snipped and burned, soldered, cauterized. I don't know what the actual term is, but whatever it is, I had it done. Just get it done, get it over with. Two kids is enough, get it snipped, get it done. Here's one of them. One of the reasons. Come here, Sloan. Come here. Give me a hug. You can give me a hug. Do you want another brother or sister? Do you want a baby brother or sister?
I don't know.
Well, good, because it's not happening unless something really weird happens, like some scientific growth happens. But for right now, we're not. So can you say good night to everyone?
Good night.
Have a good night. Have a good weekend. We'll see you tomorrow morning. And now we got number 2 coming in. But could you imagine? I wouldn't even be able to fit any more in the screen. So that's why I got my vasectomy done, because I wouldn't be able to fit any more kids in the screen. Max, you got to come on the inside if you really want to get. Oh, here we go. Now he's going to be blocking it. I don't know that I should go on my rant that I was going to go on. These two here. It's like I have cats. Like I have two cats that are just that's what kids do. They're desperate for attention. Here he comes. He's coming around the inside. Oh, that's too cute. See, they're desperate for attention. They annoy you, and then they give you a little kiss on the cheek. And next thing you know, everything's fine. So this has gone downhill really, really fast. I got Sloan here. Sloan's listening now to me. I got Max and trying to figure out where the camera is. Lindsay's clapping. We got all kinds of stuff. Say good night, everybody. And good night. All right. Bye, Max. Bye, Sloan. I love you. Go to bed. I'll be in a little bit. Thank you very much. I love you. I'll be in a little bit to lay with you. Don't forget. Maxon has gotten into this thing. Yes, he's gotten into fart mode. Quite literally fart mode. So my son learned the hard way to basically fart on command. And what he's also learned is that as a man, you can never trust a fart. Ever, 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 ever. You can never trust a fart. Literally twice in the past 2 weeks, he has tried to fart on Lindsay or me or Sloan and thought he was being funny, and he ended up shitting his pants. He sharted. He's learning very fast that as a man, you can't trust a fart. It's just not something you can do. You could be in the middle of rush hour traffic. You can be sitting on your couch watching TV, watching Sunday football, whatever it is. You never trust that fart. You always kind of get to give it the little tester. And is shit coming out? I don't know. Is this going to be shit? Is it just going to be air? I'm going to find out though. And he's learning that you have to kind of give a tester and not give it a full blast. He's going full pressure, and he's learning the hard way. But it's a lesson every man must learn, and he's going from there. Another lesson every man must learn is, you don't want to rape women when you're 18, or it could come back to haunt you when you're trying to be a Supreme Court justice. And no, I'm not accusing Judge Kavanaugh of rape, because I don't think he's been accused of that quite yet. Although there are some rumors of gang rapes and date rapes and dropping some drinks, some stuff in some drinks. But right now that's just Bill Cosby. And if I'm going full on, like, let's support the rapists, I don't think Bill Cosby should be in jail. That's my hot take. Should Bill Cosby be in jail? I don't think so. He's 80. He's fucking blind. Who else is he going to harm? Like, let's be honest. Should he? Let's do a monetary payment on him. I don't know. But what we shouldn't be doing is putting blind octogenarians in fucking prison. He apparently got hit in the head with a hot dog bun, then fell downstairs and had to eat vanilla pudding on his first night, which is ironic and a little bit funny. But also, again, it's kind of sad, like, where the news is right now. Like, Bill Cosby's falling down the stairs in prison, and I'm defending a rapist. Like, I don't think he should be in jail. He's blind. He's 80. He's old as shit. What does putting him in jail do? Or let's just have him pay some money. The guy's like a billionaire. Let's have him give some money to the victim funds. And I don't know what putting Bill Cosby in jail accomplishes. I don't know. I mean, I think he should have had a monetary fine or something of the sort. But I just don't know what putting an 80-year-old blind man in jail accomplishes. For me, it doesn't accomplish anything. Even if he had murdered someone. Like, seriously, if he had murdered someone in like 1942 and we just found out about it in 2018, he's 80, he's blind, put him on fucking house arrest. What is an 80-year-old man doing in a prison? Like, that's just not a conducive environment. And I get it. He shouldn't be afforded the luxuries of life. He raped a woman. He slipped Quaaludes in her drink, and we cannot have men slipping Quaaludes in their drinks. I get it. I understand all of those things, but he's fucking 80 and blind. What is he going to do? Can his penis even get erected? This one is gross to even think. Bill Cosby's dick probably looks like the pudding pops that he was selling in the 90s. It puts the pudding. This is the worst Bill Cosby. That was bad. I don't even know where that came from. But seriously, like, what harm is he going to cause to someone? I just don't know. And it's I don't know. our news cycle is what it is. They have to make money. They have to get clicks. So Bill Cosby raping women and getting sentenced to 3 to 10 years in jail leads to the headlines. Donald Trump having Yeti pubes and a mushroom dick leads the headlines. I get it. I understand it. It makes good headlines and they have to make money. But it's just frustrating to me when we have literally an environment that's going to shit. North Carolina is underwater thanks in large part to climate change and global warming. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that term, but it's pretty much been proven that these hurricanes are going to get worse, flooding is going to get worse, and it's just something that's going to become the norm. Those things, you know what? We'll push those back to page 2. On page 1, we need to know about fucking 70-year-old, 80-year-old men and their sexual proclivities. It's just frustrating to me. And speaking of Yeti pubes, I got a Yeti cup. I'm off of Yeti pubes now. It was in the book. I didn't.
But I feel like you're like having a contest with yourself to see how many times you can actually say it.
Well, it's kind of part of the shtick. It goes to the next segment.
Okay.
All right. So as I said, the Yeti pubes. That's the last time I'll say it. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I'll probably say it a few more times now that I know it annoys my wife. Anyway, I got a Yeti cup as a wedding gift one time, and they're good, but they're too fucking good. Yeti, change it up. You got to figure something else out. Pour coffee in my Yeti cup. Put the lid on, get the kids ready, brush their teeth, take Max into daycare, take Sloan to school. And by the time I get to work, the coffee's still too fucking hot to drink. Like, we got to figure this shit out. We really, really have to figure it out. Like, there's got to be some sort of way that Yeti can keep my coffee somewhat warm, but not scalding hot 45 minutes later. Some people may like that. I have a feeling the majority of the country does not want their shit to be scalding hot. Like, I get it. You're cool. You're overpriced. It's like $7,000 for one of your coolers because it's still ice like 3 days later. But I'm fine with just kind of chilly water. I'm fine with a Coleman. I just want chilly water. You you put the beers in there on July 4th, July 7th. You remember, oh shit, I have that cooler out on the porch. You go out there and it's just chilly water. I don't need it to be full on ice still. Thanks a lot, Yeti, but I don't need to spend $400 on your cooler because I just need some chilly water. Is my beer a little skunky? Yeah, but I'm not that fancy. You know what else I don't need? Fucking scalding hot coffee 45 minutes later. It's so annoying. Yes, I do need to make a Diggle cup with little holes in it that vent out the extra steam so that when I get to work, it's a perfect temperature for me, not scalding hot.
Open the top and let it vent.
Because then I hit a bump, I hit my brakes, and now all of a sudden it's everywhere. Well, my wife said, I don't know if you can hear because she wants to be part of the podcast, but not be on the podcast. She said, why don't I take the lid off? Which in theory makes a lot of sense, but like open it so that little tiny hole, the little teeny tiny like ant size hole is going to cool it off. All right, I'll try that next time. Yeah, so I'll take what I'll do is I will do that. I'll do that because I can't take the whole lid off because the next thing you know, it's fucking flying everywhere. Tervis cups are pretty good, but they stay too hot too. They're not quite as hot for as long as Yetis. I think Tervis is probably the happy median between ice cold coffee when you get to work, which let's be honest, I love iced coffee. Like, is it not manly to like iced coffee? I don't know. Like, what happened to that? Was iced coffee like a girl thing, and now like guys are allowed to order it because almost everybody in line orders an iced coffee if they're under 40. Everybody over 40 gets a hot coffee, and it comes in that old styrofoam cup that they're just fucking, choking out sea turtles with. That and straws. They get like 3 straws in their styrofoam cup, and they're like 58, and we're just waiting for them to die. They're probably evangelicals. We're just waiting for them to just go. Just get out of here. Yeah, I forget when my wife sits next to me that she doesn't listen to the podcast. She's like surprised by some of the things I'm saying. Like, I don't say this stuff on the reg. On the reg. Oh, that's why you don't listen, because of my views or because you hear this shit every day. because I'm ridiculous. Can't argue with you there. I am quite ridiculous, but I enjoy myself, having a good time. You know, yes, I'm ridiculous. I'm a piece of work. I'm all of those things. But what I am not is I am not a person who will not admit when he was wrong. What are you looking at?
Comment that Ree said.
Throw me off here.
Oh, Ree, I said.
Lindsay says she misses you, Ree. I don't know why she just doesn't plug in the microphone like I asked her to and help me rant. Holy shit, I've been going for 15 minutes. Time flies when you're being a jackass. You ever notice that? So I got a call the other day on my phone, and I obviously when I pick up my cell phone, so all right, here's the full story. Not that anybody gives a shit, but at work we have shitty phone lines. Like they basically borderline don't work. So what I have to do is give out my cell phone number. So any other districts, parents, colleagues, whatever, they all have my cell phone. I don't really have a work line because the lines suck. Like if it rains or if it's too hot or if it's windy, it gets really, really sketchy sounding. So I basically give everyone my cell number. And what that leads to is that almost any number that calls me, I have to pick up. And it gets quite annoying. Like I get it probably because of this podcast, because I have the website registered, I get probably 5 to 7 so one a day, like phone calls that are like, hey, help optimize your website or search engine optimization or whatever. And it's just fucking annoying. So I hate picking up the phone, but I have to. Anyway, long story short, the other day I get a phone call and this fucking woman is like, hi, is Greg there? No, Greg is not here. This is Mike. My number's ba 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 ba. You know, you do the whole thing, you get the thing down, and she's like, "Oh no, that's the right number. Greg should be there." And I'm like, I've had this number since I've been about 18 years old. I don't know what to tell you. There's no Greg. It's just Mike. And again, the woman says, "No, please let me speak Greg." And I'm like, lady, there's no fucking Greg here. It's just me. It's Mike Dendarski. I'll hang up. You can call back, listen to the voicemail. I go through a whole fucking spiel. It's like 45 seconds long. People hate it. As a matter of fact, they hate it so much. Rarely do people even leave voicemails. They just hang up right in the middle of it. They're like, what the hell was that? And it's by design, people. The longer the voicemail message is, the more I know that if you're leaving one, you need me to call you back. Not saying I'm going to call you back, but at least I know that you wanted me to call you back. So anyway, whoever the fuck Greg is gave this woman my number. And now she's telling me that I'm wrong. And I'm a stubborn person, but I don't think I've ever been as convinced of anything in my life than this woman was that Greg was on the other side of the phone and that I was like screening his calls or something. Like when I get in arguments with my wife, I get midway through and I realize that she's probably right. And I start to like kind of, hedge back a little bit. I don't go all the way back. But this woman was full on, like, it dug in that she was fucking correct. Like, I don't even know if there's a comparison when you're arguing with your wife that, I don't know, the jelly was fucking strawberry and it was grape, and she literally takes it out of the fridge and it's grape, and now you have to like pretend like, oh well, the strawberry one must have got thrown away. Like you have to make a complete other story and complete lie, or pretend like you weren't even talking about jelly. Now you have to go to like, oh, I wasn't talking about jelly, I was talking about jam, I was talking about preserves, I was talking about the peach preserves that we have. So now you have to go to like some other entire different product. But no, this woman was just adamant that Greg should have been on the other line. And I don't even know who the fuck Greg is. I don't know who he is. Still to this day, I hope he's all right. I hope he's not like dead or something. But apparently Greg was supposed to talk to this woman at my number. And she was adamant that I was like making shit up. Like she was like, no, Greg should be there. I was like, honey, I almost called her honey boo boo. Which I heard she's coming back out with a show. She's gonna be on like Dancing with the Stars for Kids or some shit. Dancing with Stars Juniors. Okay. Yeah. So she's going to be on that. She's looking quite hefty. I think her mom lost a lot of weight. She went from like, I forget. She's got a show now called Not to Hot. She did. She got the bypass. Honey Boo Boo's back in the grocery store. Joe, if Bachelor in Paradise, Bachelorette, on Dancing with the Stars, and man, he is terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. He's a terrible dancer, but he made it to the second week because the Bachelor fam is strong, and they put him through. He's a good little Italian boy. He's got like a Chicago/Jersey kind of accent, which is really admirable. And I'm jealous of him. The guy has made a mint, well, not a mint, but he's made quite a bit of money off of the fact that he got sent home the first week on The Bachelorette, and now he's literally on Dancing with the Stars, making quite a bit of money on being an influencer on Instagram, I guess it is. Which I was an influencer for a few months, wouldn't you know? Didn't influence many people to buy a lot of things, but I got a $28 check, son. Look at no. So apparently, when you when you sign up for advertising, there's two different tiers. Like there's an actual tier where you can actually generate revenue for the company, and that they call you an advertising partner. And if you're just trying to send people to the website with like a link or like a unique link, you're a quote unquote influencer. And a lot of the bigger podcasts like Bill Burr or Mark Maron, or the new one that Lindsay has me listening to, Dr. Death, which I think what was that, Karen Bunting? I don't want to. I just fucking government named her. Whoopsie. They turned me onto it, and I think I'm 4 episodes in. It's really, really good. So basically, it's about a guy who was a shit doctor, but a really determined individual. I don't know if we should praise his determination or well, I'm not done yet. Maybe I'll find out more. He seemed to have a lot of determination. He was a drug addict, did a lot of cocaine, did a lot of drinking, a lot of vodka, cocaine, vodka, and paralyzing people. Those 3 things, this fucking podcast is right up your alley. I don't know like how that works, which apparently there's a website like cooks.com or recipes.com or one of those. You just type in what you have in your fridge, like eggplants, I don't know, Brussels sprouts and chicken, and it'll bring up a fucking boatload of recipes for eggplants, Brussels sprouts, and chicken, which is basically where we're going in the world. You're going to be able to type in like 7 different keywords or things, and all of a sudden it's going to be curated just for you. I like vodka, cocaine, and paralysis. Boom. Dr. Death. That's the podcast you need to listen to. And it's really good. It's kind of riveting. So basically this guy was botching neurosurgeries for like a year or 2. Finally, it got to the point where he got so bad that he wasn't allowed in any more hospitals in Texas. And he kept stringing other patients along saying, yeah, I'll give you a surgery. And that's where I am. I still have 2 more episodes left. So we'll see how that goes. But apparently he's a crazy person. And I know he or the hospitals are being sued for malpractice at this point. This was in like 2012. Also, the same company did a documentary podcast called Dirty John. That one was phenomenal. It was really, really good. Kind of similar storyline. This guy was like more of a con artist, though. Pretended he was like a well-to-do medical professional. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. I've never done it, but it's the one drug that before I die, I think I want to do. I think cocaine. I'll die.
Probably.
I'm not gonna do a whole fucking 8-ball. You don't want no party you wants to try cocaine.
No, and I wish you would talk about this on Facebook.
Oh, I guess you're right. It is on Facebook. I mean, I'm not gonna do whatever. I'm 35 years old. I've not done cocaine yet in my entire life. I don't think the chances of me randomly doing it are very high. But it is a drug I would try at some point before I die. Maybe I'll be 78. Maybe I'll be on my deathbed. I've always said I wanted to die just wheeling myself off of a cliff. That's kind of the way I want to go, and I want to be cremated. I do not want to be buried. So maybe I'll just do a line, wheel myself off the fucking Grand Canyon, and then whatever's left of me can be burnt and put in an urn. My wife is covering her, like quite literally covering her face right now. I wish you could all see this. I don't know like what else to say. She's quite literally. No, I cannot. Brian, as much as I would love to, I cannot. I do want to come on your podcast though. So guys, if you're listening still, another local podcaster, Planet Earth, What's Happening, Brian Mooney. Check it out. His logo. He's got much better search engine optimization. So if you actually typed in Planet Earth, what's happening, his podcast will come up. If you type in Brian Mooney, his podcast will come up. Unlike mine, where if you type in what had happened was, just random shit pops up. If you want to find me on YouTube, you have to type in my name, Mike Dundarski. Then my podcast will actually come up. Then it'll be there. But anyway, I am trying to be on Brian's podcast. We've been kind of what I would say is bullshitting. Like, oh yeah, I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do it. But I've never given him a day. So when I get done with this podcast, I'm actually going to reach out to him and I'm going to give him a day, and I will tell you guys when that's coming. I don't know. It'll be fun because he's kind of a bit of a more right wing, I guess you'd say, than I am. He's a free thinker, I is the term. So no, look for that one coming out in the next couple of weeks. I'll definitely do that. But so where was I? Oh, so yes. Speaking of which, Bill Burr is one of my favorite podcasts to listen to. Haven't been able to listen to him as much, but the last time I did listen to him, one, he was shitting on the Jets, which okay, whatever. They kind of deserved it. Everyone did get their dicks a little hard after the first week, and then it's been quite the crash course since then. They got beat by the goddamn Browns, for God's sake. They opened up the Bud Light coolers. Anyway, what I was going to say was he was talking about Randy Newman and talking about some of his songs, and one of them was super fascinating. It was called Rednecks, and what it was kind of doing, it was like juxtaposing like the way blacks were treated in the South to the way blacks were treated in the North. And it was funny, like kind of saying like, oh, in the South, like we are upfront about our racism, but in the North, it's kind of overt and covert. And it's kind of like, it's not overt, it's covert. It's overt in the South, it's covert in the North. So, and I don't think much has changed because when Northerners or quote unquote liberals think about like Southerners or bigots or Trump supporters, we think like, oh, they're racist and blah, 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 blah. But we don't like to kind of confront our own racism and our own, stereotypes and things that we hold near and dear to us. So while, yes, they may still fly Confederate flags in Alabama and Mississippi and Louisiana, guess what? The incarceration rate for African Americans is just the same in Massachusetts and New York and California and all these quote unquote progressive places. So while it looks pretty to say like you're progressive and you would never fly a Confederate flag and you would never say the N word, like at the end of the day, what are you standing on that aside from just like I'm holier than thou? Because when you look at the incarceration rates at a lot of different places or the poverty rates in a lot of different states, they're very, very similar for African American families. And it's just funny to me, like that this song by Randy Newman in like I think it was from like the 60s was basically saying like, yeah, pre-civil rights, like the South was shitty, but at least they were upfront about their racism. Like in the North, like we tried to pretend like we were some like, oh, we're such forward thinkers. Yeah, but still, the black people, instead of keeping them on the plantations and on the cotton fields, we just put them behind bars and away from their children and in prisons. So it was just, I don't know, it was really I don't know, I want to say it was deep, but because it was fucking Bill Burr. But it was an interesting look at the way we treat things and the way we handle things. Like it's very easy to sit in your bedroom and talk about how Trump supporters are this, or Republicans are this, or Christian evangelicals are this. And then when you look at the rest of society, we are not that different from like one another or our worst fears. We just like to project that we're so much better or we're so much different. Or like, oh, like all this hand wringing about immigrants. Well, guess what? There's still kids separated from their families right now. And what are we doing about it? Absolutely nothing. What I will say is that protesting and getting our asses out in the streets actually matters. I know a lot of people like to laugh. Oh, look at the protest. Oh, what are you doing? You're wearing a pink pussy hat. You're holding a sign. Oh, big fucking deal. What are you doing? You're just holding a sign. You're putting a Facebook status on Facebook. You know what? That stuff builds up and it will eventually matter. I know a lot of people like to like shit on people like, oh, well, what's that matter? You're just standing in a street holding a sign. But if you look back in the 60s, when women were trying to get the right to, well, this wasn't the 60s, but when women were trying to get to vote, what did they do? They went to the streets. When African Americans, Martin Luther King Jr. in Selma, when people were trying to get civil rights. What were they doing? They were going to the streets. They were marching in the streets. These things are not what I would say as insignificant as people would make you believe. Get out there, do your civic duty, and vote. And especially in November, vote. Even if you don't vote for the candidates I want you to vote for, please go out there and vote. The record in our country is downright pathetic. And yes, 12 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, I was talking about our president's Yeti pubes and whatever else I was talking about. And I understand that this is taken a veer toward a more serious kind of subject matter, but that's life. Sometimes you're talking about doing 8 balls of cocaine, and other minutes you're talking about doing your civic duty and voting. But seriously, in November, it's very important that we vote. I don't know. It's kind of similar to like Obama in 2010, like Obama in 08. It was huge. It was a great thing for our country. And then in 2010, the Tea Party came and swept through, and it's been what it has been for our country for the past 8 years. It gave us Donald Trump. Now we're starting to see more of the Tea Party was obviously far right. Now we're starting to see some stuff that's quote unquote far left. A lot of progressives are winning elections and people never would have thought would have won, and they're getting put in Congress. And we're going to see if they caucus, and we're going to see if they can make some waves politically. And who knows in 8 years what that will give us. We thought Bernie Sanders with his free college and free healthcare was crazy. Who knows what we're going to see in 8 years? Because the Tea Party was literally the beginning of the Trump train, so to speak. So I don't know. In 8 years, I may be looking like a right-wing crazy person, because the further and further left we go, as I get older and more crotchety, and I am a white man, so I do have to come, more conservative eventually. The more money, that's the big elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about, is that it's more about money than anything. It wasn't that as people got older they became more conservative. It was that as people got more wealth, they became more conservative. They didn't want the government to tax them. They didn't want the government to take their money. Well, guess what's happening to millennials, my generation? We don't have the same wealth that our parents have. One, our parents aren't dying as soon, so they're not leaving us as much shit as quickly, right? And two, the government, the economy is just not boom. It's doing well right now, but historically, the economy has not been as kind to a newer generation than it had been in years past. The baby boomers were working longer. There were less jobs. So as this lack of money and this lack of wealth, what we've seen is a boom of quote unquote more progressives and more liberal Democrat voters that would typically be turning more toward the conservative side right now. But no, what we're seeing is that the economy's not there, the government's not there, and we're seeing a lot more quote unquote liberal voters in that millennial generation. I know a lot of my friends like to make fun of liberals and millennials and laugh at millennials. I'm like, bitch, you are a millennial. I know we don't like to think we're millennials, but we're fucking millennials. Barely. I'm barely a millennial. I was born in 83. I think that's kind of like the cutoff, that 81, 82 range, but I'm a goddamn millennial. And do I like avocado toast? Yeah. Is it because when I was born? I'm not sure. I don't know. I hate horoscopes. I don't think everyone that was born in December is some sort of nymphomaniac, or everyone that was born in December is some sort of like assertive individual, or everyone that was born in June is some sort of asshole or has bipolar disorder, or everyone that was born in March is a crazy person. I don't know. I don't believe in horoscopes. I don't really believe in all those kind of weird things. That if you put a fried egg on top of avocados on top of a piece of toast, it's fucking tasty. It's yummy. I enjoy it. $12 for it, but I'll make it in my kitchen. I'll do that. So I don't know. We're here. I'm at 30, almost 30 something minutes. This kind of went off the rails. Went a couple different directions. I did not mean for this to end on a please go vote rant. But sometimes you start off talking about Donald Trump's penis, and then you end up talking about your civic duty to vote. Who'd have known that? But that's where that's where it have ended. But that's where we're gonna end it because I think it's about that time to lay down, read a story to the kids. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will be back Sunday morning with the NFL picks. Please tune in. If you don't like the NFL, I'll be back again. My goal is to do it on Wednesdays, but I'm not even going to pretend like I can promise that because with Lindsay working, with me having to do soccer practice on Thursday nights, I just don't know when I'm going to get around to it. But I do appreciate I do enjoy doing this. I really genuinely like talking to myself for a half hour. Who doesn't? Who doesn't like feeling so important that they can just talk to themselves for a half hour? Thank you guys so much for tuning in and go titty fuck yourselves. Bye.